Hi guys, it's Miss Katie, and today I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna teach you ways to make math fun. Now, before you turn off this video, because you're like, what? There's no way you can make math fun. Stick around, because I'm gonna show you games that you can play around your house to make math fun. And first off, we're gonna start with a boring, plain deck of cards. You probably have these laying around your house. Or if not, you can get them at the dollar store for $1, or go to your grandparents' house, or aunt and your uncle probably have some. And that's all you need for this first step. So let's begin. All right, so again, all you need is just a deck of cards. You're gonna open up, and the first thing you're gonna do is take out the jokers. You're not gonna need the jokers. Goodbye, goodbye, adios, see you later. Okay, so what you can do with these cards, you can do very simple. You can teach them place value, which is a first grade standard, which means understand place value, first grade standard. You could also teach them greater than, less than, or equal to, which is war. Whoever has the greatest card gets the deck. Whoever has 4 and 4 equal to, so that way they go to war. It teaches them greater than or less than or equal to, which is a fun game. It makes you not think that you're learning math. And that is another first grade standard, which is compare two two-digit numbers based on meaning of the tens and one digits, recording the results of comparison within the symbols. Greater than, less than, or equal to. You could do war, or you could also use little symbols, like make a little alligator, or I've seen people take, the plastic containers with the Hubba Bubba gum inside, and they painted it yellow and made it look like Batman, because the mouth opens towards the biggest number. So that's a simple way you could use cards. The other way you can use cards is for addition and subtraction. This game's pretty fun. It's called the pyramid game. But you don't need face cards, and your face cards are going to be your kings, your queens, and your jacks. You're gonna keep your aces because your aces represent 1. You're just gonna go through your cards. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. 52 card pickup is another one. You can help them count all the way up to 52. With cards, since there's numbers involved, there's a lot of creative ways you can teach math and have fun with it. So, our pyramid game. These are my instructions, by the way, if you're wondering. First is you have to remove your face cards, which you did, but leave in the aces because that represents 1. Then you're gonna put them in a pyramid formation, 6 rows. Get out of the way, buddies. But you have to make sure that they're overlapping each other because this is gonna be very important when we start our game. And each person playing can have their own pyramid, or you can take turns or work together. Let's get it back some more. So again, when you're making your pyramid, they can be a lot closer than this. I just make them spread out because it's just easier to grasp. So we need them overlapping, and we need 6 rows. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more row. Okay, so now it's time for our game. It says, place remaining cards in the deck face down off to the side. These don't count, we're not using those. Okay. The goal is to remove cards in the pyramid by making 10. So we're trying to find numbers added together that makes 10. That's our goal. However, you can only remove cards that are completely uncovered. That's where that rule comes in. So right now we can only play these cards because they're uncovered. There's nothing on top of them. If you also have a 10 card, that counts because it's 10. So let's look at our cards. We have an ace, which equals 1, a 5, an 8, an ace, which is 1, a 7, and a 2. All right. Now, don't be afraid to use your fingers or any other method like a number line to help you solve this math problem. To this day, I still use my fingers because math makes me nervous and I don't want to mess up. So I know that a good method for me is using my fingers. So if you see me using my fingers, that's why. So let's look at our numbers. So we have to find a way to make 10. I think I see one. 8 plus 2. Let's check. We have 8, 9, 10. That makes 10. So we can remove these and set them off to the side. Now we have 5 plus 1 is 6. That's not 10. 7 plus 1 is 8. That's not 10. Then we have 5 plus 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's over 10, so that doesn't work. We're stuck because we can't go to these ones yet because it's covered. So what do? It says, no 2 cards remaining. If you come to the solution where no 2 cards remaining could make 10, but the game is not over, remove the deck of cards off to the side. These can be drawn from to try and find a needed card. So we're going to pull a card. Aha! Let's see. 5 plus 7? No. 5 plus 1? No. 5 plus 5 is 10. So we can pull this apart. Now, we have this card uncovered. There's nothing touching it. And that's a 10, so we can take that away. And you keep going, and you keep going. It says, continue to draw until you can make another 10. Remove those cards and continue to play in the same way. If you make it through the entire deck, you can flip them over and begin drawing again. All right, so 7. No. So we're gonna put him back down. Because right now we have 7 plus 7, which is way over 10. 7 plus 1 is just 8. And our other cards are still covered. So we'll flip it again. 8 plus 1 is 9, so it doesn't work. Then we keep going. 6 plus 7, no. 6 plus 1, no. And you keep going. 8 plus 1 is 9. We're getting close, but not yet. 7, 8, my goodness. 9, whoo! 9, 10. Now, this is a tricky part. If we want this one, it only uncovers 1 card. But if we want this one, it uncovers 2 cards. So we want to take this one. 9, 10. So we can take that. And now we're stuck again. But you get the concept. So it says the game is over when you can no longer remove cards from your pyramid. To win the game, once you are stuck and can no longer remove any more cards, add all the remaining cards to determine your score. So say we added all these up. These are all 10. We figured this all out. And we're off to the side. But we have these cards left. And no cards over here. We can't make 10 out of any of these. We can't use these because they're covered up. And all we have is a 9. That's not a 10, is it? No. So it says you have to add all the remaining cards. So 9 plus 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, plus 4. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So our final score is 22. Now the goal is to have the lowest score. So if you had a pyramid and you only had this card left, your score would be 4 and you would win. But if you had 23 and I had 22, I would win because my score is lower. And this covers the counting, adding from 10, which is a kindergarten standard. It says counting forward, beginning. Oh, nope, nope, nope. I have so many standards on this paper. It is, for any number from 1 to 9, find the number that makes 10 when added to the given number. There's also a fluently add and subtract within 5, which we could do because we were trying to figure out 10 and we had to do math in our head. So we did some addition up to 5. We didn't do subtraction, but we did some addition. So let's move on to counting on. This one's fun. And it's also a kindergarten standard for counting forward, beginning from a given number. So we have our cards. And you can play this with as many people as you want. They all get their own little deck. And what you do is you need a dice. Any dice will work. I just have these big ones so you guys can see. So you flip over a card. This is 8. Okay, so then I will roll the dice. And it rolled a 3. So I'm going to count up from 8, 3. So 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I'm done. So then you would go. You pulled a 2. So we would roll 5. So we're going to count 2 up 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is teaching you that you know your numbers, because a lot of times if you had to go up to 5, you would start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we want you to start from a given number. So I started from 2 and I counted up 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what that is. It's pretty fun. It just gives you a hand-on activity for learning math. Now, the next one, which is including multiplication. You could also do some addition in there, but I just wanted to cover multiplication to show you a game with cards. It's called Spiral, and it's pretty interesting. So this one, you do need face cards. And if it gets a little bit confusing, you can make a little key off to the side where it says kings equal 13, queens equals 12, jacks equals 11, and ace equals 1, for those that can't keep it in remembering. So what's a spiral is you're gonna have your starting card and you're gonna, this is a bad idea, I need to shuffle these, or else they're all gonna be face cards in the beginning, and multiplicating with face cards isn't always that easy for some. Ah! All right, we're just gonna put you down here. Okay, you just make a spiral. Just make a spiral. Now again, aces mean 1, jacks mean 11, kings mean 13. My goodness! I thought I shuffled these good. Not really. I'm horrible at shuffling. And you just make a spiral, because each of these cards represents as a game board space. And you can make it as big or as small as you would like. Right now we're focusing on multiplication, but you can also use subtraction once you see. You also need little game spaces. You could use paper clips, you could use Cheerios, you could use fruit snacks, you could use anything really. But I'm gonna use straws. So you're gonna put them in your first card in the middle. It says the object of this game is to be the first to travel from the start to the finish. It's to start with a complete deck of cards, as well as 1 to 2 dice, which we're just going to use 1. And then it says ace equals 1, jack equals 11, queen equals 12, and king equals 13. To begin, build a spiral out of the entire deck of cards as shown in the picture below. This will serve as your game board. You can use the same board to multiply games or multiple games, or create a new board each time to change it up. Each player then places their game piece at the start, right there. To start, the first player rolls a dice and moves that number. So let's roll. 5, so I'm gonna move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I landed on a jack, which equals 11. So then it says, they must then multiply the number on their die with the value of the card. So 11 times 5 is 55. Because I got it right, I stay. If I happen to get it wrong, I would have to go all the way back to where I started. If they solve it correctly, they stay there. Otherwise, they go back to their previous position. Players then take turns rolling and moving around the game board. If a player lands on a card with another player on it, they bump that player back to the first. So say you rolled 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You landed on my card. You would bump me all the way back to start. So if you could imagine we were on the almost to last card and you bumped me all the way back to start. It says if a player lands on a double, that's if I say you're on 2 and you rolled a 2 and you got it right, you would get to go again. Meaning the number on their die and the value of their card is the same, they get to go again. The first player to land exactly on the last card and correctly solve the multiplication problem wins. Pretty fun, huh? And you could also just do this with addition and subtraction as well. So these standards, the first grade standard is add and subtract within 20. The second grade standard is fluently add and subtract within 20 using mental strategies. And then the third grade standard is fluently multiply and divide within 100 using strategies such as the relationship between multiplication and division. Well, in this case, we only use multiplication, but that's okay. And now, I'm going to show you another cool way to learn math. One that you would never imagine. Jenga. Jenga? You can learn math with Jenga? Stay tuned and watch. All right, so we're gonna learn math with Jenga. But first, let's talk about the standards that we covered with this lesson. So you're gonna do addition and subtraction. You can do number recognition for the little ones, and then you also have multiplication. So our first grade standard is add and subtract within 20. We also have another first grade standard where it says add within 100, including adding a 2-digit number and a 1-digit number and adding a 2-digit number and a multiple of 10. Then we have our second grade standards, which are fluently add and subtract within 20 using mental strategies. You also have fluently add and subtract within 100 using strategies based on place value, properties of operation, and or the relationship between addition and subtraction. Then moving on to our multiplication, which is third grade, and that is fluently multiply and divide within 100 using strategies such as the relationship between multiplication and division. So we're looking at this and we're like, how do blocks teach us math? But it's what's on the blocks that matter. So the goal is, you can write on them, but I did little pieces of paper because that way, oh no, that way I can change them up. So you pull out a card, a block, and you have to solve that, whatever it says on your block. So mine's 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 2, 4, 6. So I solved it correctly. If I didn't, I'd have to put it back. So say I got it wrong. You know how hard it is to put a block back in Jenga without knocking it over? You put it back. But if you got it right, you put it on the top and you move on. So you would go and you would pull a block and this has a number on it. So you would say that number. Now you can have it all the same thing. I just have it a little different to cover each standard. And you would keep going and keep going and keep going. So you're playing a game, but you're learning math at the same time. So that's Jenga. Pretty simple. The next one is checkers. All right, so now we have checkers. So all you need is a regular checkerboard and little baby pieces of paper. If you want, you can write on it if you want, but I like to use little pieces of paper so then that way I can change out the problems as we get better with math. So what you do is you get a little piece of paper and you write down a math problem. So let's think. 32 plus 12. That's pretty big, but you get what I mean. And I would tape it to my board on a square. And then as you play checkers, so if I move my checker to this square and I land on the math problem, I have to solve that math problem. So I landed on 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. If I got that wrong, I would have to move back. There would also be math problems on every square that you land on. That way, you solve a math problem as you play. So I moved 3 times 5. So the next player would go and they would land on this one. So I have, again, different math problems on here. And this one is the number 22. So they would land on it for the little ones, number recognition, and they would go 22, and they would stay there. If they didn't get it right, again, they would move back to where they came from until they got it. So that's just a fun way to include math in a game. As they think of it as a game, they don't think of it as work or math. And that way, it's kind of like a sneak where you try to be like, oh, this meal's delicious, but secretly it has vegetables in it, but you don't tell them that. It's kind of like this. So now, our next thing is puzzles. All right, So I'm going to teach you math with puzzles. Now I don't have puzzles, which a lot of you might not have puzzles at home, but I created my own puzzle. And what I did is I went online and I went to, where's my website? I went to Crayola.com where they have free coloring sheets. You just type in Crayola.com and click on the coloring sheet option, free coloring sheets. You print them out, you color them, you flip them over, and you create your puzzle. So, I printed out my paper, I colored it, which you can have them color. It makes it a little bit more fun. Then, you make them into a puzzle. So this is what you do. So you kind of just create, you can make them as small as you want, you can make them as big as you want. And you just create your puzzle. And as you create your puzzle pieces, remember, you gotta cut this out. So don't make them too fancy. So you just kind of connect the pieces, kind of make them as close. I kind of make them wiggly. I don't really make them like puzzle pieces, but if you want to be that creative, you go right ahead. So see how I'm doing. And you do that to the whole page. And then you write in your math problem. I have ones where it's number recognition for the little ones, where you're gonna put them also in number order, starting from 1, I think all the way to 12, which I'll show you. I have ones that are addition, but then you could always have a cheat sheet. But my addition, what I like to do is I start from 1. It's addition and subtraction. I like to start from 1, so the answer for one of them is gonna be 1, and then the last puzzle piece is going to be 10 or 20, whichever how many little pieces you have. So that way you know that they're correct, because you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So yes, so let's do, I have number recognition for the little ones, I have addition and subtraction for first graders and second graders, so let's do multiplication. So like I said, you could do the 1 to 10. So first one, so let's do 1 times 1. Then we have 2 times 1. Then we have 3 times 1, 2 times 2, 5 times 1. You don't have to keep it this simple. You could also go 10 all the way up to 20, 36 all the way up to 42, one of those. And then 2 times 3. This is just something simple. And then you cut them out, just like this. All right, we're gonna set this puzzle piece off to the side, just like this. And then you have them flip them over, you spread them out just like this. So like for this one, it's just numbers. So I got 1. So I know 1's gonna be in this corner. Then I'm gonna look for 2. This helps them with their number order. And we have to go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And what's cool is if you had this on a nice, like on a piece of paper underneath it, which you could just slide this piece of paper underneath, maybe. We'll probably have to fix it. Yeah, we'll just fix it. So say it was all together and you flipped it over, and the way you can check if you're correct or not is if your picture makes sense. But mine fell apart, so I'm gonna quickly put them together. Quickly. And it's also fun because they get to color it too. This goes here. This one goes here. Oh no, this goes all the way down here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Creating my picture, creating my picture, creating my picture. That goes here. This goes right here. All this goes up here. And there's your picture of dinosaurs jumping into mud. I flip it over, but it's gonna fall apart. And that's the same thing for this one. they would do their addition and subtraction. They put the pieces together, and as you can see, they're a little bit smaller than that one. So you can make your puzzle pieces any size. And when they put it together, it goes 1 to 15, or they can flip it over and check their answers if their picture makes sense. It's a little fun little activity you can do on a little rainy day. Now lastly, is my favorite one because it involves snacks. Now, this lesson is fantastic because not only do you get to learn math, but you get to eat your math as well. You could use fruit snacks, you can use Smarties, you could use little candies, anything to reward you for doing your math. So the first thing is, if I can find my paper, is a snack standard. You could do it for any kind of math. It's a reward to get those stubborn ones that just don't want to do math anymore. So we're going to focus on kindergartners. So this covers count forward beginning from a given number. When counting objects, say the number's name in a standard order. Each object represents one number and one number represents one object. Understand that the last number said tells the number of objects counted. The number of objects is the same regardless of their arrangement or the order in which they are counted. So you would make a line of your cute little fruit snacks. And you would have them count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you would ask them how many. If they have to start over, then they're not really up to that standard yet. But if they can go and you ask them how many and they can say, oh, it's 7, then they've mastered that standard. Also, if it's 7 and you rearrange them on your paper, fruit snacks everywhere. Arrange on your paper and you had them count. They would still know 4, 5, 6, 7, that they're 7. It says, understand that each number name refers to a quantity that is one larger. So I would know 2 is greater than 1, 3 is greater than 2, 4 is greater than 3, and so on and so forth. Count to answer how many. Questions about as many as 20 things arranged in a line, a rectangle, a circle, or as many as 10 things in a scattered configuration, given a number from 1 to 20, count out that many objects. So we'd make your rectangle of your fruit snacks, and as they do good, they get to eat one. And then if you tell them that if they do all of the math problems, they get to eat all of them. This is an also good way for graphing, where you can graph how many grapes you have, how many apples you have, which ones taste the best, which ones taste the worst, and then you'd have them count. Identify whether the number of an object is in one group is greater than, less than, or equal to the number of objects in another group. So this is where you have, I have 3 fruit snacks over here, I have 2 fruit snacks over here, and I can tell which one has more and which one has less. This is also, this is where the fun part comes in. You can also include addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction, where if I had 3 fruit snacks and I added 1 more, how many would I have? 4. But if I had 4 fruit snacks and I ate 1, how many would I have? 3. So it gets them into doing math because they get to eat something. Another thing is if you do a little circle and put like a number in it, like let's say 1, and you put a fruit snack on top of it, and they lift it up and they can tell you it's 1, you get to eat that fruit snack. Same thing goes for multiplication. If you had, I can't write upside down. If you had 2 times 2, and they were going around the sheet and they lifted up this fruit snack and they said 2 times 2 is 4, they could eat it. But if they said it was 6, they'd have to put it back down and come back later. So these are just some fun ways to get your mind off of the hard math and turn it into something fun. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you had a fun time and learned fun ways to make math fun. The standards that we covered in all of these lessons, I will include in the comments below. So check them out if you want to see them in detail. And I hope you guys have a good day, and if not, make it a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.